Hi, my name is Ryan Pfeiffer. I'm the pastor of Next Gen Ministries, and our devotional this morning comes from Leviticus chapter 6. I'm going to read a little bit of that for you right now. It says this in verse 1. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Suppose one of you sins against your associate and is unfaithful to the Lord. Suppose you cheat in a deal involving a security deposit, or you steal or commit fraud, or you find lost property and lie about it, or you lie while swearing to tell the truth, or you commit any other such sin. If you have sinned in any of these ways, you are guilty. You must give back whatever you stole, or the money you took by extortion, or the security deposit, or the lost property you found, or anything obtained by swearing falsely. You must make restitution by paying the full price, plus an additional 20% to the person you've harmed. On the same day, you must present a guilt offering as a guilt offering to the Lord. You must bring to the priest your own ram with no defects, or you may buy one of equal value. And through this process, the priest will purify you before the Lord, making you right with him, and you will be forgiven for any of these sins you've committed." So right here in this passage from the law, we realize that to love our neighbor is to love God, and to sin against our neighbor is also to sin against God. And we see that here because we don't just need to bring an offering to the person we have stolen from, but we also need to bring an offering to God and make right with God. So when we lose relationship with other people, it's also a breach of relationship between us and God. It doesn't mean God loves us less, but our capacity to experience God's presence in our life and to be open to his love becomes diminished. Listen to what 1 John 4:19 says. "We love because he first loved us. Whoever claims to love God yet hates a brother or sister is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister whom they have seen cannot love God, whom they have not seen. And he has given us this command: anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister." The idea here is this, that the law lays down the requirement for how we should behave, but as I said this last weekend, none of us can perfectly obey the law, because fundamentally there needs to be a transformation of heart in order to live a life of transformed behavior. Because doing loving things doesn't make us loving people. We need to become loving people by first continually experiencing God's love in our life. And as we do that, that releases us and empowers us to love others. That's what we see in Luke 19. Jesus comes to Zacchaeus and he loves him by inviting himself to his home despite his poor character and his poor reputation. And that touches Zacchaeus so deeply. And he responds in this way. Verse 8, chapter 19 of Luke. "But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, 'Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor. And if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount.'" Not just the 20% that the law requires, 4 times the amount. Because when we are daily experiencing God's love for us, we are overflowing in our heart of love, generosity, and kindness to others. Wherever there's a breach of relationship between you and your spouse, your children, your neighbor, or coworker, in that place it's an opportunity to experience more of God's love for you. By acknowledging your difficulty and struggle, your inability to love, forgive that person, or see things from that person's perspective, to admit judgment or bitterness or resentment that you have for that person, that releases you from sin and opens you up to experience God and his forgiveness in a fresh way, and to be more able to love that person and more able to experience his love for you. Have a great week.